welcome back to the sports show as we do it our way. Still Abdul and CeeLo's Real Talk Productions, not Batman. It's Night Views. So I guess it's a little mix, the CBM stuff. This is Night Views, where we talk all about the sports our way, no agendas. We even call out our own home teams, but again, I am still Abdul. We're circling Sunday nights is a good time to ease in with some sports talks. And again, joined here by RTP. What's good with you, Carlos?
What's up, man? I'm happy to be back. Full effect. Night Views, man. You guys have been missed. I'm ready. I'm ready, brother. I'm ready for the night. We got a lot to talk about.
We got plenty to talk about. I mean, we got the story off the presses. LeBron, does he want to trade from the Lakers? The Laker fan in me say, yes, trade him. But we'll talk about that. and then we're going to definitely pay respects to the NBA season, the champs, OKC. The SGA, is he the new next great one? Well, I'm down here, Carlos talking. I got some hot takes about SGA. Okay. I'm wondering what Carlos is going to say about that. And then we also got to look at the ladies WNBA, a snapshot of the season. I'm telling you, this was kind of the year. If you didn't catch on to the WNBA last season, and first off, you gotta like ball. Like you be like a basketball fan. And if you are, man, some of these new ladies are balling like they playing like dudes out there, man. So we definitely got to talk about that. But let's start with LeBron James. Now, just to remind people, I'm a lifelong Lakers fan, right? I grew up around the time I really got into it right when Magic, like right before he, semi-retired. And that's when I really started watching the Lakers. But that became my team. Obviously, we blessed with Shaq and Kobe, and then Kobe, Powell. Then we get LeBron. And my thing with LeBron and AD was that LeBron, can you allow some of these young kids to step up and play? They traded all the young kids. Yeah. But then we got a chip, but then we fall into Luka Doncic. So I mean, again, just Lakers fan. We get superstars every generation. So I pat ourselves on the back on that. It's the Luka era now, Carlos. So now I'm ready to move LeBron, right? So we're going to get into this article, but what's your take on this? Just the LeBron era. He's been there for 8 seasons. I don't even feel like it. He's been with the Lakers for 8 seasons. We got one title in the bubble. People want to laugh about it. It still counts.
Against my Heat.
And I look at it, right? It was, they tried. And then I looked at, we got Luka, the heist in the middle of the night. We get Luka Doncic. We could build around him. Do you think it's time for LeBron to leave, or do you think this is him kind of playing the game?
To be real, I think this is LeBron. LeBron, first of all, let's just call a spade a spade. He is still showing how he played last year, that he can still provide something for a team, especially a team that's ready to win. With that being said, last year, you guys, the Lakers, you made it known very, very much, a lot, that this team, their trajectory for the future is Luka. We are building around Luka right now. So I think after we saw not so much that they butted heads, but it didn't mesh as well as we thought it was going to with LeBron and Luka last year. I understand it was the first year. Luka did come off of a little bit of an injury. And this was kind of the first time we did see LeBron get injured like that in the, throughout the course of the season. But I think it's time to go gung-ho, especially with the new Lakers owners that, they signed and everything. It's time to, push that chapter up and move on with building structurally around Luka. And LeBron, this is the time for you guys to actually get something from him before he just ups up and retire. And LeBron has mentioned multiple for these last couple of years that he wants to make a push to get one more finals. And I think right now with how the East has been wide open. I think LeBron is doing this to get some of those suitors over at the East Side to come get him. I really do think so.
I mean, since you brought that up, I will say, and we'll go through this report by Shams. I think he reporting this, but I think it's the perfect time for LeBron to go back east with Tatum out with the Achilles, Halliburton out with the Achilles, Dame. These are all East teams, right?
Yep.
And now I think Giannis and LeBron should be like, yo, this is my year. Like LeBron should be like, go back to the East. Giannis should be like, I'm about to destroy everybody. Like there's nothing, there's no Celtics.
And for all we know, Giannis doesn't want to stay with the Bucks as of right now. So.
Yeah, well, I don't like long term. So Giannis is a loyal dude, but I think he has to see though, like, okay, if we can kind of get like another piece, I mean, who's gonna stop me? Like your Heat's rebuilding right now, right?
We have our main core. We have our main core, which is Bam and Tyler. We're trying to load off Wiggins right now. And
they didn't pull that for KD, which I was surprised. They didn't go for him.
Yeah. And I think it's because what they wanted for KD, and as a fan, as much as I would have liked to see KD in a Heat uniform, for one, something inside me was telling me KD is never going to come to Miami. One, because it'll be you know the stories. Oh, he's trying to copy LeBron. He's coming to Miami. He has to come to Miami to win. And even a recent podcast, the D Wade podcast I was listening to. D Wade,
it's a great podcast, by the way. D Wade.
Yeah. He actually has been saying this about Kevin Durant since he's been with the Heat with LeBron. When LeBron left the Heat, he's like, you as an organization, why do you keep going after somebody that doesn't want to be here and follow the footsteps of LeBron James? All that to say, for speaking of the Heat standpoint, and you're looking at what we got, we actually have a lot of young talent, and we have a rising star in Bam Adebayo, and he showed us in the USA team last year how versatile he can be and how much he can control the team. Tyler Hero, first season being healthy, surviving all the way to the playoffs. You add a guy like LeBron or even a KD, you need that one veteran to push them. So they're not as far as all these other East teams, are making.
You need that piece though, right? Like,
right.
To be all fair with Bam, he plays great when he's surrounded by other good players. Then that maximizes him, right? Hero, that can't be your number one.
100%.
You see what I'm saying? So that's why I say you pull that trigger for KD. Now it would have cost you like Yaquez and some of your young guys. It would have depleted your young guys. You would have had KD for like 2 seasons, and maybe Pat Riley was like, I don't want to mortgage my future.
Right.
But this was kind of I mean, I'm just saying, like, I'm not going to doubt the great Pat Riley. I know I made jokes that he's washed, but he said that. That wasn't me. But this was the year to pull the trigger. Like I said, Boston dismantled. Right. Yeah. As soon as Tatum is out, they're like, okay, Porzingis, you're out. Drew Holiday, you're out. There's listening to deals for Derek White. So Celtics is out for this season. Like we said, Pacers without Halliburton, you see what happened to them in this game 7. They fall apart because he's their closer. We'll see what happens with Milwaukee. This was the year, Miami. This is what I'm saying. Yeah. This was the year to kind of mortgage your future. But like I said, I don't want to doubt the great Pat Riley.
So outside looking in, I first of all, the I don't know, we're gonna touch on the draft. Who we picked up for the draft at a 20th. I'm surprised he dropped that low. His name is very long and it's very hard for me to pronounce. But this man looks like a young
Yakunanis. Yeah, I'm done.
Yeah. He's like a versatile young Dragic like player. He's a point guard that's been missing in that position. We just as of yesterday signed Davion Mitchell again for us for 2 years, which was a huge come up for the Heat. So like we had these pieces, but like I'm saying, we're shopping Wiggins right now. If we get people were talking about DeRozan and stuff, but if we get into the mix of this talk with LeBron James does decide to come back home to Miami, because
so that's what you're angling.
I really do think so, because I mean Pat Riley has said it time and time again. I understand when he was down here. They've had their differences when it comes to,
Couldn't have his
stealing
chocolate chip
cookies.
cookies.
Exactly. But one thing Pat Riley has always said, he will always leave a key under the mat for LeBron James. And LeBron, especially his wife, has a bunch of businesses down here in Miami that like she's been mentioning for a while now. She's ready to, make that trip back to Miami. So who knows?
Interesting. And just as a Lakers fan, as a resident Lakers fan, I wouldn't mind taking Wiggins. I mean,
Right.
we could plug him right into there with Luka. I'm good with that. I'm good. Wiggins is a better, like, probably a 3-man really, or third in a trio type thing. But I wouldn't mind that trade if they make these contracts work. Like, let's do it.
And I also think as well, since Miami is such a developmental team, LeBron as he's playing with his son, and soon his Bryce will be eligible to be drafted as well within the coming years. Having Bronny be a part of that culture, to improve his game, because let's face it, I mean, being in LA, it's fun. You've been playing under your dad, but has he really been put under the ringer to become the player that
Yeah, it was like a sideshow. And again, I get it, and I wasn't trying to be hard on the kid all last season, but I'm like, Lakers, this is title town. We're about championships. We're not about conference titles, nothing like that. If we're not competing for a title, it's a wasted season, right? It's the mama mentality. That's what LA is now. So, with the Bronny sideshow and he made a good move, one of those moves, and it's like, bro, we're trying to win some games, bro. Now it's the Luka show. Now, LeBron and Bronny, we could package y'all to Miami. Y'all have a good time out there. We'll take Wiggins and like another piece or some picks, and I'm good. And then we still got to make some other moves with the Lakers, because we need a big man and stuff like that. But I'm all in with the Luka era now. Like, LeBron, you can ceremoniously leave.
For you guys, I would definitely keep an eye on Charlotte right now. They just got I believe it was Nurkic on a trade. That'll be a nice piece for you guys to look into, because Hornets just signed Williams. So I mean, I know he's injury prone, but who knows with the Hornets.
Well, they shipped him actually to Phoenix during the draft. Mark Williams? Yeah.
Because you guys were supposed to have him last year, and
he failed the physical or something. I don't know what happened with that. It's something personal, I think. But so a lot of pieces to be made. Let's kind of pick through this Breach Reporter. Quoting Rich Paul, the agent of LeBron. I don't know why. How did Rich Paul become famous? But anyway, he says, we understand the difficulty in winning now while preparing for the future. We do want to evaluate what's best for LeBron at this stage in his life and career. Now, the part of LeBron, he does have to keep looking at how KD keeps getting impossible situations right now. Not saying it was all successful, but let's be fair. KD, OKC, they kind of hit a ceiling, he felt, with Russ. And so he's like, okay, let me, he goes to Golden State, plays the best ball, or they played the best team ball in his career. He's back-to-back Finals MVP. Would have had a third one if he didn't blow his Achilles, right? And then you go to the Nets, you got the Kyrie situation, the Harden situation that blew that up. Phoenix, you got the ownership situation. I don't know what went on with Phoenix, but KD keeps being able to exit, and LeBron has to be looking like, hey, if I'm not close to a title, because Houston, side note, let's kind of touch on this briefly. Houston Rockets look pretty good with KD giving up Buster Dillon Brooks and playoff loser Jalen Green.
Yeah.
That was a steal of a trade. What'd you think of that trade?
It actually took me a couple days to look at it. As a win now situation, I thought it was great for Houston. Moving forward, they did get rid of a lot of young talent and a lot of future picks. I mean, but for a player like KD, you have to do that. And so it made sense. I'm just glad they didn't get rid of Van Vliet and all that stuff, because that team was what they were. I mean, it did hurt losing Brooks. As crazy as that sounds, losing Brooks, I think, was a big defensive identity for that team. that, you know,
But,
you're adding KD to that, you know.
but you're counting on Amen Thompson. You're counting on him to take
Yeah.
that next step, right? So you're thinking that Thompson kid, and, you know, his twin was with the Pistons. He
Yeah.
got bust down by Brunson in the playoffs. But that Amen Thompson, you're like, okay, this could be like a Scottie Pippen type dude.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then KD just go in and just get buckets. That's all the Rockets needed. Was like, we could play defense. They got great coaching. I mean, Udoka, he built that Celtics team. He made them really into the champion. Then he got, you know, dismissed for like smashing the owner's wife or something. And then whoever it was, some exec's wife. But it's like, bro, what are you doing? But it's like, he's a great coach.
What is it? Don't poop where you eat.
Yeah. You know, come on, bro. Like, you know, get one of these groupies out there, bro. If you got to do all that, but then you had Nia Long. Anyway, I ain't gonna talk about that. But it's like that's an L. That's an L right there to lose her. But he's gonna be a great coach. He's a player's coach, so he knows that, you know. I think he can unlock Sengun. He's gonna be better. I mean, they kept a lot of depth, right? Yes. This was I know Dylan Brooks. Yeah, he's a good piece. But come on, KD.
I think with what's going to be huge this season is the young stars like Thompson. How you're saying, he needs to literally sit back and listen to everything KD has to take. Because one thing that was very huge for Houston that hurt them a lot this year was Thompson's temper. He was getting into fights, you know, and which is great. You like to see that, you know, the physicality and all that stuff. But when it starts to cost your team, because he is such a great player, just like his brother is on the Pistons, when it comes to scoring, distributing the ball. So and defense as well, like once he starts letting the emotional side take over and affect the team, this is when you need that veteran piece, which that's what KD is if they listen to him. You know, KD is not one to push his veteran skills. He's one like, look, if you're gonna listen, you're gonna listen. If not, I'm gonna just go out there and ball. So
yeah, I think they kept a lot of depth. Again, keeping some veteran guys, and then you still have some young talent. The Rockets is right there. You're talking about top teams in the West right now. I think they could challenge OKC instantly. We'll talk about the Thunder, the champion Thunders, in just a moment here. But with LeBron, again, reportedly closely monitoring Lakers' moves for future decisions. Please monitor and find your exit. LeBron opts in on his $52.6 million. That's a 1-year salary. Insane. And he's evaluating his Lakers future. Now, I'm seeing different takes with this. Like, LeBron usually opts out, signs a 1+1 deal, sees what happens. You know, he keeps taking as much money as possible, and then reing up. It's rare that he just opts in like this, to my knowledge. So, on one hand, opt in. You have this in your contract to get the biggest 1-year salary possible. So yeah, you're worth that. LeBron's worth it. He's a mega name internationally, so we're not going to front about that. Get your money, but also this makes it easier for them to trade him.
Yeah,
right, because you got him on the books. So you can get that Wiggins. I think Wiggins getting like 30 or 40.
Yeah, and I believe Wiggins is on his last year as well.
Yeah, this is the year to trade Wiggins for sure.
Yeah, and so with that as well, and evaluating his future. So I know some may take this as a knock towards LeBron or whatnot. Unfortunately, LeBron likes to be the center of attention, as we see. You know, his whole career, he's always, And having a guy like Luka on there now, especially with the Lakers going all in on Luka right now, some of that, we saw that last year. He kind of had to take a step back, and he was in certain interviews, he was kind of reluctant. He was kind of like, this is his team. Let him take on, ask him the questions. It sounded like a little dig towards it, but you just felt something off last year when it came with the lockstep between the Lakers and LeBron. So I think there's something there. I really do think there's something there that's going on.
I mean, sports. I mean, this is a machismo, sport, man. Like alpha. If you're an alpha, you don't want somebody just come in, take your bowl from you. It's like, hey, bro, like this is
overnight.
This is mine.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and you trade. It's supposedly that was his guy AD. So you trade him away, and the Lakers is like, yo, we gotta get this superstar for the future.
Yeah.
LeBron, you're kind of the past now, and may not even be the present. You know what I mean? The way the team is structured, because this is what I will say. Seeing them play together, I wanted to see LeBron defer a little more,
Yes.
and because I think Luka, if you're going to be all in on Luka, you can have Luka standing around. Luka needs the ball. He needs to make all the decisions. I'm perfectly fine with that.
Yeah.
And Austin Reeves, in a weird way, Austin Reeves kind of found his role better with Luka there.
Yeah.
And he unlocked Reeves a little bit. So I just think really either Reeves or LeBron has to go. I'm gonna be quite honest. Like just as a Lakers team, yeah.
And the thing is, with a guy like Reeves, we've seen that work with Luka already with a guy like Kyrie. Now, I'm not comparing Reeves to Kyrie,
right?
But
obviously
but the style of that position, it works well. We've seen that with Luka. I mean, they made it to the finals, with that team. Injuries and all that stuff put aside, but they made it far. So you add a couple. You add a guy who doesn't need the ball in his hands, like let's talk about Wiggins, right? You got a guy like Wiggins who's like that slot fill, where he doesn't need the ball, but when you give it to him, he could rebound, he could defend, he can score for you. But the majority of the offense is coming from Luka. So it really makes sense. It really makes sense.
Yeah, no, for sure. So, like I said, just as ball handlers, I mean, Reeves, needs to handle the ball some too, and he's a good spot up shooter as well. LeBron, not the best spot up guy, and he needs the ball. Luka needs the ball more than that. So LeBron, I really do. LeBron, he needs to be moved. If for some reason LeBron wants to stay, then we probably do got to move Reeves because we can't have all three of these guys needing the ball like that. So we'll see how that comes about. But the quote here: LeBron wants to compete for a championship. He knows the Lakers are building for the future. Rich Paul saying here. Again, a realistic chance is what he wants. And we are very appreciative of the partnership that we've had for 8 years with Jeannie Buss and Pelinka. Consider the Lakers a critical part of his career. I mean, it sounds like a goodbye note. This is what this sounds like. They'd never talked like this. And you got the new ownership. New ownership maybe coming in and be like, yo, I mean, LeBron era's over, bro. This is I think this is a wrap.
In that new ownership, I know Jeannie is gonna continue being in charge of this, but is that only for this season, or is she
they're keeping her? Supposedly, they're keeping her as the owner or the what do they call it? The the
players,
point person.
Yeah.
Of the, and that's probably was part of the deal where she was like, I need to remain in this role. The what do they call that again? It's not the GM. It's not the owner.
It's like the president.
It's another title. It's something like that.
Yeah,
president
of decisions or something like that. Because she has almost like the final say. Yeah,
she's like the key person of it. And someone in the chat, they'll probably tell us in replay, like, "Hey, dummy, it's this." But whatever. Like she's gonna be there, as the face, but they answer to the money people now. Yeah. And they got Luka now. And so Rich Paul again says, we understand the difficulty in winning now while preparing for the future. We said that before. He'll evaluate. We'll see. I'm leaning more on he signed in. We got a set salary for him. This is movable.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, he's going to pick where he wants to go. I think he has a no trade clause.
He has a no trade clause.
And usually he again opts out, then re-opts in with that no trade clause. Now it's like he opts in, he could pick where he wants to go, and then he's just going to be there wherever he goes next. That brings a lot of hope to people. Like you mentioned, Miami, also Cleveland could be where you book in your career going back home. LeBron is very dramatic like that, and they have some pieces. Garland, they wanted to move Garland. I think they made a play for Durant actually.
Yes,
Cleveland did.
with Garland, they try to throw him in. They were throwing a crazy deal that I'm actually surprised the Suns didn't bite on it. But yeah,
For Durant.
for Durant, for Durant at the time. But you see, with that, what's crazy is as much as that would be a crazy storybook ending. With Cleveland, you're right there with what you have right now, and in order to get a player like LeBron, you know Donovan Mitchell too, you finally gave him the key to the city. Would you really want to kind of mess with that flow with adding a player like LeBron? As great as LeBron is. So
no, that's a fair thing. I mean, if we're gonna be fair with Cleveland, like you get into the playoffs there and like you have like three guys out. Yeah. Now again, taking nothing away from my second home from home Pacers. They had a wonderful run. They made the playoffs really fun this year. The Pacers really did. And, knocking out these teams and talking crap the whole time. And it's like with the Cavs, to be fair, Donovan was fighting for his life by himself in that round against the Pacers. Bro, like it was just him. Mobley was out. He was the defensive player of the year, Mobley. Garland was out, and then they missed another piece. So, hey, Donovan did the best he could. I rather run it back. Right? Would try to have even add a piece if you need to. I think you need. I don't think Garland. I don't think Garland is the Robin, right? If Donovan Mitchell's Batman, I don't like Garland as my Robin. I like Mobley. I think it's time to move Garland.
I think they need a veteran, even if it's coming off the bench, a veteran point guard. One who's just shopping around right now that I think would be nice would be a Chris Paul or something like that coming off the bench for them, to kind of like guide the ship. And I mean, let's face it, any team that Chris Paul has touched as a far, we see what he did with OKC, and look, they won a championship within 2 years time frame.
Like, he mentored Shea. Like, you can't discount that.
Especially what he's doing with the Spurs right now with a Wemby and stuff like that. Like having that type of player, even if you do keep Garland, you have a guy like Chris Paul come off the bench and just mentor these guys. That'll be a nice fit for him, man, because they need more ball control. Donovan Mitchell, what I've noticed within the last games was, I mean, he was dropping 40 to 50 points and they were still losing, but he was so ball dominant because that's who he is. He's a scorer. He's not really a facilitator. If you find a guy who can facilitate that team, man, that would
be a difference. I mean, I think like part of me is saying, okay, Cleveland, again, you got to be opportunistic. Like Celtics is out for a year. Pacers out. So that's two of the top three teams right there out for next season. And if you want to throw in Milwaukee as a top 6 team.
Yeah.
So Cleveland could be like, we could run it back and we will be the top seed again.
Yeah.
And we won't, we probably just got to beat the Knicks, who's very beatable, So it's like, and they want to make some changes too. So it's going to be a really fun offseason is the point that we're making with that.
I kind of want to pick your brain on that. What do you feel about this talk about the Knicks potentially getting rid of Cat? Yeah.
No, I think it's a mistake. Like I think Brunson's their best player. Obviously, Brunson has proven it. He's clutch. I kind of felt bad seeing him lose, but I was happy my Pacers was beating him But I was like, this dude, he lays it all out. He's Mr. Fourth Quarter. Does great stuff. But Cat was a clear number 2 on that team, especially against the Pacers. He was killing us down low. So I think it's a mistake. Trade guy. Again, like on the East, all these teams, Cleveland, New York, if your Heat adds a piece, they should. And if Giannis gets some little up, y'all should be like, oh, the East is wide open.
Yeah,
we can win this. And the Knicks should be feeling like that. Like, yo, we got beat by the hottest team outside of the Thunder.
Yeah,
I think we could run this back, and the Cleveland should say this again. So my answer to that, though, I wouldn't trade Cat. I know he can't play defense. That's why the T-Wolves traded him. But he is an offensive threat. I think he's a clear, offensive threat down low. He's a bucket getter, and you kind of live with what he can't do on defense.
Right.
Kind of structure and strategize. So that's my answer. I say the Knicks run that back, man. Y'all got the squad. Y'all just got beat by a hotter team. That's all that was.
I honestly and look, no shots out here towards Thibodeau. I think he coached that team well.
Yeah.
But now that he's gone, you get the right coach and you coach Cat properly, because Cat was coming up to the 3-point line thinking he was Seth Curry. He can shoot the ball, don't get me wrong, but man, we need you down low. We need you working down there.
He does his damage down low, and if you get like an offensive coach, with Cat, Brunson, and
Mark Jackson,
Abanobi, whatever his name is, like why wouldn't Matt? That's perfect. New York, like what are we doing?
Yeah,
what are we doing here, man? Did Mark Jackson do what Udoka did like 10 years ago or something? Like what? Why is Mark Jackson blackballed? He obviously introduced us to the Splash Brothers.
Yeah.
How is this man not coaching right now?
Yeah.
I think he smashed more execs wise. Something had to happen, man.
So I didn't mention this earlier. I had to do the research right now. So Cleveland actually added Lonzo Ball in the trade, which coming off the bench, if they do decide to keep Garland,
that's your
vet. If you want to call him a vet point guard,
I'm putting that vet at this point. Yeah, he's nearly 8 years, I think.
Yeah.
He's vet. Lonzo is vet, and he gave about 15 minutes, keep him healthy, and he could run that second squad. That's what Lonzo is right now. And but that move is saying, okay, we're fine with Garland still starting, and this is our backup to run. You know what I'm saying? The backup squad. Like I said, if I'm Cleveland, New York, Bucks add a piece, Miami add a piece, all y'all should be like, we can win the East.
Yeah.
No Celtics, no Pacers. Like all in this next season.
To be honest with you, we haven't really touched on the Celtics. I think Jalen is on the move. I think they're gonna move and they're gonna try. I think they're really gonna revamp this team. They've proven that like they like to do it from scratch. I mean, they won that one championship, but they're kind of at a odd situation right now with Tatum being with his Achilles. You have to be all in on Tatum right now, and I think it's time to split up that duo of Jalen. That face of Boston you need to choose.
I think that run is over, right? They had that window where they were in the conference finals every year. They're playing your Heat. They were playing other teams, and they made it to a couple finals, 1-1. That window's done. Like as soon as Tatum went down, because they were going to. Let's be clear, the Knicks had their number, even if Tatum didn't get hurt.
Oh yeah,
they had the Celtics beat, right? So let's be clear about that. They were going to lose, even if Tatum was in the game. Okay, so we're done with that. But but going forward, you say, okay, Tatum, you're out for a year. Get stronger, get healthier. Sports medicine is at its greatest. KD, you couldn't tell KD has an Achilles injury. KD, it looks as good as new.
I mean, look at Aaron Rodgers.
Right, exactly. Halliburton will be fine. Dame, he'll be fine. Everybody, they take a year off. So with the Celtics, though, in the meantime, what are we doing? Get your value for Derek White right now. Trade him.
Oh, yeah.
Trade Jalen if he wants to be a centerpiece of another team, and have those pieces ready so when Tatum comes back, it's all around Tatum, and just have like a bunch of, role players around him. And I think the Celtics will be back in another year. I think because I make fun of Tatum all the time, but he is a really good talent. Like let's be fair. He was going down shooting. And that's how you do it. When the Knicks had their number, Tatum was having his best game I think I ever seen him play. And then he went. They were still losing, but he went down shooting. Yeah, and I was like, I got a lot of respect for him. Got a lot of respect for Tatum.
It's crazy to see. I kind of wish he never. And this is crazy. A Heat fan saying this about Celtics. But
I like this fan. Like
I was kind of sad to see him go down, just because he was kind of him and Halliburton. Shout out to Halliburton. What happened? What transpired to them from the USA team. I know we touched on
That
that
is a
last
funny
season.
thing with that,
You know, look at the season they had and how far
yeah,
they got. That
yeah,
would have been a crazy story, especially if
yeah.
it was Boston versus, Indiana.
Oh yeah, that would have been wild. Yeah, because they both got their minutes cut in the summer at the Olympics,
yeah,
and there was a lot of talk about like, man, like they like dissing Tatum and Halliburton. Halliburton was cool with it, and he just came out and
yeah.
beasted in the playoffs, right? And Tatum, like I said, he was having one of his best games I ever seen him play
He
in
was
his
wearing
entire career.
he was wearing those shoes right there, the Superman
The
shoes.
Superman shoe. And then he blew a tire there, and I was like, oh man, I hated to see that happen. I was like, nah, I
Yeah.
want to see strength against strength. I hate when
Mhm.
the best players go down like that, man. And so let's kind of transition. Let's go to with the Thunder. Again, props to the Thunder. I respect the game. They went out there, they played the teams in front of them. I still say I think Denver gave them their biggest scare
Yeah.
of the entire playoffs, and that's Joker. Like just
Yeah.
Joker, just give him like an actual team around him, and he could play against the best team in the world. So I mean, hey,
Yeah.
shout to them. You know what I'm saying?
Before we jump in on this suit, speaking of Denver, like the GM dropped some weird, like, I don't know what they got going on over there, where they're like open to hearing trade talks for Joker. And I'm like, dude, like what has this NBA come to? But yeah, this segment is about the champs right now.
Yeah, much respect.
This was a fun series to watch. I kind of wish it
Mhm.
wasn't over. Like I wish we could have got more games out of it, man. But this was fun to watch. Seeing this team, you drafted them, they came together, you build them up brick by brick, and they just beasted out and actually took this championship, man. It was really fun to watch, man.
I mean, and talking about the Thunder, we got to include the Pacers, obviously, in this conversation. Yeah. Hey, I doubted my second home team. Now, again, to be fair, the Cavs were injured, but hey, you go out there and you take it, and that's what the Cavs did. Halliburton hitting game winner after game winner. It just made the postseason so fun to watch. He went into New York, did the choke sign. I was like, they were kind of destined for something there, right? And I think in this series, because I know people will say, okay, game 7, man, Halliburton first, just insane game 7 start where Halliburton comes out, hits 3 threes, talking crazy, cussing out Thunder fans. I was like, bro, we may have a game here. Like, this is gonna be crazy, right? And then literally the next play, like he goes down with the Achilles. I'm like, like we were robbed of a all-time, even if the Pacers would have lost, because I still feel that they would have figured it out because they're that deep. But I would have loved to have seen Halliburton going down shooting, one more time.
That game 6, how I mean, I know his presence was effective, Halliburton. But did he score a lot game 6? Because he played hurt.
Yeah, he was hurt. That he had that calf strain, right? And what people are understanding, just like with KD and Dame, that calf strain is a precursor to an Achilles injury. So, like in the future, when someone says, "Oh, I have a calf strain," they say you really should just sit out a month. You really should just shut it down because you're going to overcompensate and blow your Achilles. Like it's just proven now. Yeah. But in that game 6, he was out there kind of playing half speed, and like the Pacers just, at home, they just routed the Thunder. Yeah. So Holly didn't have to do so much, right? But game 7, I think he got shot up with some good drugs, and like he was out there, but he was talking crazy, like he cussed out some dude. Like I was like, this is gonna be a crazy game 7, right?
Yeah.
But if I look at that series, if we're going to be real about this, first off, okay, game 1. Pacers steal it, right? That's what they've been doing all postseason. They steal game 1. It was Nembhard going crazy in the 4th, and then Halliburton game winner, right? Wonderful game 1. But in no way did I think, I was like, okay, Thunder's going to come back and win game 2, right? And that's what they did, right? Then you go to Indiana. Pacers win game 3. I'm like, hey, if they take care of home, they could win this in 6, right?
Yeah.
Game 4 is probably the game. If people are going to look back at this postseason and say, oh, is SGA, was he really that dude? Game 4, he took over the fourth quarter like I've seen your guy Wade do before.
Yeah.
Or my guy Kobe, Jordan, the GOAT. That fourth quarter, SGA took that on the road and tied it at 2-2, but I felt the series was over, actually. When they took back home court, I was like, Thunder.
Yeah.
Thunder's not going to lose anymore at home.
And this whole what are they calling it? The whole hacka whatever of Shea. Man, he's
free throw merchant.
The free throw merchant. He's using the game to his most, by doing that. And me being a D Wade fan, he's done the same thing. And I feel like SGA, if they are able to keep this core together, man, the Thunder are going to be around for a very, very long time. Long time.
Your talk with Shea, like, this is probably the softest the NBA has been. Now, this postseason, it got really physical, which was great to see.
Yeah.
And SGA was like, I'm going to get physical with you. Like, I'm going to bow you. I have the ball. I'm going to bow you and then draw contact. I mean, that's the game. And the teams that wasn't ready for that, they got ran through. And Minnesota wasn't ready for that. It was an afterthought. And that's why I'm going to go back to what I said with Anthony Edwards again. I'm not going to pray. He's like Lamar Jackson to me right now. Like, postseason, I want to see you get to the promised land. I'm not going to be cheering your little highlights and stuff regular season, early in the playoffs. No. Get to the big game, Lamar Jackson. We'll talk about football in the future. Anthony Edwards, get to the finals before I talk to you.
It's crazy for me to even say this, but Anthony Edwards has almost become what Ja was, the highlight reel, doing the great things. Like he does have a great team, Anthony Edwards around him right now, especially with Randall. I think that trade should go down as one of the most underrated trades between New York and the Timberwolves. Minnesota. I think that trade it worked. It worked as we seen, both. But yeah, man, he needs if he's really that guy, the protege of Jordan. He needs to step it up, man.
I'm sorry, 2 years in a row, bro. Like, again, last season it was he kind of caught us off guard, took out the champs, the Nuggets, in Game 7, and then you go against Luka, and it's like Anthony Edwards looked gassed, and literally the same thing this postseason. He destroys my Lakers. I'm thinking like, okay, Anthony Edwards, maybe he is Michael Jordan. Like, my goodness, and then they take out what was it in round 2? Who they played. I can't even think of the team at this point. That's how probably fast they got whooped.
Yeah.
Golden State because Steph went down.
That's right. That's right. It was.
They took him out easy work. And who knows if Steph didn't get hurt? I mean, that could have been a totally different series. But Minnesota looked tough. You get to the conference finals again, and it's like they get humbled. And that's like, I'm not interested in these first round, second round stories no more, man. Like, bring it or don't say nothing. So Anthony Edwards, I'm saying you're on notice. Make it to the finals. I'm not going to highlight anything you do unless you win an MVP. If you win an MVP, I'll give you your props. Season, but you got to get to that big game. We got to stop annoying these dudes.
So early, man. So early, and it's a sad thing to see because, especially with the market some of these teams have. It's like they haven't done anything, and it feels like they're putting the whole world around them, man. And it's just like man, sometimes we just gotta let these players play.
And I get it. Like I said, you take out a high profile team, Lakers. You're gonna get a lot of spotlight on you. So, like I said, I get why they was like, oh, Anthony Edwards, maybe he's that dude. I mean, I thought he was, but. It's like, nah, you can't keep running out of gas, bro. Like, you got to unlock your team or you got to do something. Or you just not that dude. And that's fine. If you're not that dude, I mean, there's been eras. You had the Jordan era. No one else won but Jordan. I mean,
Yeah.
sometimes you're just not that dude. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see. But as far as again with SGA, just props where it's due. Scoring title, Finals MVP, and regular season MVP. He's like one of I think 3 players ever to do that, and well deserved. Now it comes this conversation. As it says, their SGA averaged 32.7 points per game during regular season, most in title winning season in NBA history. Jordan had 32.6. This is a meaningless ESPN stat.
Yeah.
But the point I'm bringing this up is the comparisons has to happen when you win, right? Because you got to win. And then I think I'm not so caught up in this whole legacy thing. Like, there's different eras. Like back then, the old Celtics team with Bill Russell. You had Showtime Lakers. You had Jordan, Kobe, Shaq. Even he had a short run. When you had Shaq and Wade,
and then LeBron, and
then LeBron, and you do the big 3 Heatles thing with that Celtics big 3 had their thing. So you have different eras, different runs. With SGA as a single talent. And I can't. All I could do is kind of rate him with other great guards. He's more of a combo guard, right? I know he's at point, but he's really a 2 guard who can facilitate. So let's just go. This is Night View, so we're gonna ask you uncomfortable questions, right? Now let's be fair. Let's be very fair with this. He's not Michael Jordan. Okay, can we?
Do it 6 times, then we'll talk.
It's no diss, right? And I want to focus more. Obviously, the winning is one thing, but just your skills as a player. Jordan. I mean, a lot of these people don't realize. You look at your YouTube videos or something. Like Jordan would give you 32 points, but then he would shut down the other guy the same game, right? Shea, he has defensive ability. But I don't see him on Jordan level. So let's kill that, right? Let's kind of kill that right now. So if you're talking about best guards ever, you say Jordan's the GOAT. Then after that, most people will say Kobe, right? I think rightfully so. 5 rings. Yep. Kobe did it on both ends as well. Mamba mentality is in pop culture now because of Kobe. Is Shea on that level? I don't know if Shea is a killer enough to be Mamba level. What do you think?
So I think, and I know people, they like to do the comparisons and all that. I think the only player right now we can compare Shea to is Dwayne Wade. This whole Jordan, I understand Jordan is the icon. He is a icon. But just because someone wins a championship, we can't keep putting that photo next to him. What Jordan did is, I wasn't even alive for it. It's the legends we hear about as a basketball fan, as a player of basketball. I play basketball myself.
Ultimate killer. That's what Jordan was. Ultimate. Both sides.
If we are going to put a picture up there, the picture should have been, and this is something that my whole career of being a fan of playing the game, of coaching the game, the disrespect that Kobe Bryant gets is he's looked over so much. The picture that should be up there should be a Kobe Bryant, because that's who Shea should aspire to be, or to be better. Because then after you pass that Kobe Bryant Mamba mentality is when we can put this picture together that we have.
Well, and that's what I would say, because I think me and you kind of established, at least on Night Views. When we're talking about GOAT guards, it's Jordan, Kobe, and then it's your guy Wade. Wade supplanted all the legendary guys. Wade became that third guard, right behind Kobe. Yeah. And he was battling with Kobe in some of those seasons as well, too. So props where it's due. And I think, Kobe gave up props to Wade as well. So you're trying to catch Wade. And I mean, that's not easy either right there. Now, Wade,
it's not.
I think was more of a two-way than Shea also.
Yes.
What do you think with that?
No, 100%. So D Wade being drafted, he was drafted as a point guard. But as his career moved forward, especially when Shaq came into town, the Flash became a thing, and that's when he became that 2 guard where you were able to have a guy like Mario Chalmers, a guy like Jason Williams, a guy like Gary Payton, who that they are the point guard, but we know who's distributing the offense in D Wade.
He's that combo guard. Wade is probably the ultimate combo guard because Kobe was a straight 2, Jordan straight 2. Wade was like that combo guy, and that's the best comparison to Shea, I think. And again, I don't think Shea's on Wade's level yet.
Right.
I think he can aspire. I mean, I think get a couple more rings, or at least one more ring, and
the conversation start. Yeah.
Then I think you can start talking about, can he be the number 3 all-time guard? I mean, I think that's a serious thing. But again, what's the criteria? What is it going to take? Is it more ring? Like, you got to have another ring, right? That's in the equation.
I think that's a start. Definitely, you need. What needs to happen is what's going to be this next season after this championship. Are you guys going to tank? Are you guys going to be the same? Like that, I think that's the first step they need to figure out, and what Shea needs to figure out. Because
I think he has. Yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead. You're good.
I think he has to stay in contention. I think that's the main thing. I think as your Heat saw, and then you win your title, then you kind of bottomed out, but then you got the big 3.
Yeah.
And then that first year was really the last of like great Wade, but they lost that championship, but to the Mavericks. But you can't take your foot off the gas. And I think is, at least with Wade, he won the title, they bottomed out. Riley cleared out the roster, and then Wade had his best season ever. Right? Then you get LeBron. So it's like that was kind of like a crazy 3-year run, for your team. And I think with Shea, you got a legit number 2, Jalen Williams. He showed me a lot in these playoffs. Jalen Williams, man, much respect to him.
So what's crazy about that is, and this is, you touched on it about the whole, like how Wade, he had the 06, we got rid of Shaq. Then he had to, he became that player to where he was that number 1. He made that, that movement and made that name for himself until LeBron came down, with Shea doesn't have an aging star next to him like D Wade did with Shaq.
Okay.
On his first, championship. He has a lot of young guys at his level, age-wise, that if I'm the Thunder, I don't care how much it's going to cost me. I am keeping this team together. And the camaraderie as a leader that Shea is, he's proven this year.
Yes.
He needs to keep that. Because one thing that I love watching Shea, when I'm watching him play, is that the amount of fun, not that he's having, but the players around him who are playing basketball is having. And that as a leader, you're either going to make people love playing basketball around you or be so upset they're going to be monsters like how Jordan did to the people around him. People, there's people out there, believe it or not, who hated playing with Jordan.
Yes, but on record.
Loved what Jordan brought out of them.
And Jordan knew like that was how he led. That's the thing with Jordan. And some point Kobe was like that's where he rode his guys.
Yeah.
Where you saw with Shea, he had a different type of leadership. And again, it's a younger team, and they had a lot of fun, right?
Yeah.
But he was super serious. So I was like, this is a different dude. That Shea is a different dude.
Yeah. Yeah. And I feel like Shea is what this generation of basketball needed. Because everybody talks about, you can't talk about certain, you can't talk to certain players a certain way. Shea proved, and in certain interviews you see, whenever there's a certain player that he's standing next to, he communicates to that player totally different. Even on the floor, when you're seeing a timeout, the way he's yelling at a certain player or talking to a certain player is like, hey, this happened, you need to be here. Or he's, with Chet. He's yelling at Chet. He's pulling Chet in like, man, you need to, go do what you got to do over here. We need you right now. And then there's somewhere he's like, look, we need you. There's different ways to say it and be effective with it.
Right. And to be fair, I mean, Shay, I mean, I mean, it's a young team, but he is
Yeah,
26, so he's kind of he's more mature than the other players. But like you said, you want to keep this core. Like, don't make the mistake the old OKC did. Right? They let Harden go. You would have kept those guys. They made it to the finals. KD, Russ, and Harden. You would have kept them together. I don't think KD would have left because you would have had Harden there with Russ,
yeah,
right? And then you see what you can do, with that team. But I mean, as far as fit though, it's probably better that Harden left. But um,
yeah.
with this team though, with Jalen Williams, again, I gained a ton of respect. Also on my sports props, he did really good in the play. So shout out to Jalen Williams. Now Chet, I think Chet, he's that unicorn. He's like a Porzingis. That's kind of what Chet,
That's
in a sense, is.
yeah.
He
That's
won't be a true number one guy, but he can help you. You know what I'm saying? Shore up. The lineup right there. But I think the key is SGA, Jalen Williams. Definitely keep Chet and as much role players as you can. If you could think just real quick with the and we're going to shift here with the OKC team, the guys that they have. I'm trying to think like what their lineup like. Again, SGA, Jalen, Chet. I think Hardenstein will probably be the first one to go because he's going to be priced out.
yeah.
So you're going to lose that big man.
What was his name? Porter or Dort?
Dort may be a guy he come up for a contract and be like, okay, I'm gonna go get my money.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go get my 50, 70 million. So it's gonna be some kind of attrition, but you got to keep Jalen Williams. You got to keep Chet, and then I say you can roll out 7 other dudes around them and contend every year.
So one thing. So I've really been thinking hard about this. When it comes to this team, one thing I do think that they need to work on is when Shea is not on the floor, it's keeping that lead. I know that's Williams. That's what you got that for. But
Jalen has to be the guy.
A lot of what we've seen in these series is that sometimes there's competitive games like that last game was, or there's games where they're getting blown out, and you're like, what team is this? What team am I watching? And I think that goes back to that whole veteran talk we were having. So if I'm OKC, I'm bringing back where it all started. I need that veteran guy to come off the bench. I'm going after CP. You imagine if they get CP and they bring him back
That'd be a
coming
nice
off
return.
the bench.
Yeah.
You know?
That'd be like a full circle for him, a little mini circle back.
And he had this when I saw that team, that young team, when CP was leading them, that was for the first time since maybe Lob City with the Clippers. I saw CP having fun playing basketball.
Getting away from Houston, remember?
Yeah. And Houston too. Like you didn't see that stigma. He was just out there balling. He was coaching at times. He had a fun. So if they were to really do that, let's say they do get rid of Hartenstein, stuff like that, you still have your bigs. Go out there, get a veteran like CP, bring him in just to control the flow when your star
when
SGA
Shea sits down. Yeah. That's a good point right there. And like I said, I mean, I see Jalen Williams next season. I see him submitting himself as an all-star level because, like I said, this postseason. And I doubt this is me. I doubted Jalen Williams. I didn't think he was going to be that dude. And just big moments, he was stepping up. Like he was taking big shots. He was driving to the basket. I was like, okay, this dude's for real. Yeah. Jalen Williams is for real, right? Chet, hit or miss, but that's okay. You're number 3, right? You're like Chris Bosh, right?
Yeah. With Chet, what's more important is staying healthy. Yeah, stay healthy too. Staying healthy for Chet is the most important thing. And with Williams, he was like, give me the stage and I'm going to perform. And they gave it to him.
He embraced that whole Pippen. If we keep comparing these duos, Jordan Pippen, like Shea was like the Jordan mode. And when you need Pippen, that's what the Bulls did for 6 championships. Jalen Williams filled in. And so I was like, okay, he proved it, right? So you have something really there with this Thunder, man. And so last thing with the Thunder, we go to next season. The Lakers, my Lakers still got to do some moves. I can't say they're a contender. Minnesota, they got sunned, so I don't
Yeah.
know if they're on that level. I guess the Rockets, that's probably the team that could challenge the Thunder.
The Rockets.
And if Nuggets make a move, Joker's going to be right there.
Yeah. Well, as crazy as it sounds, I would also believe that the Clippers can make some noise if they stay healthy and if Kawhi stays healthy. I know that's a tree that everyone is like, all right, I'm tired of talking about what can the Clippers actually do. I believe if they do stay healthy, they had a little bit of a run last season throughout the regular season.
Hey, they took Nuggets to Game 7. Again, Nuggets only 2 years removed from a championship. Joker is still the best player in the world next to Shea, that people would say. So Clippers took Nuggets to 7. Nuggets took Thunder to 7. So I'm just saying, like, Clippers ain't as far away as people think. They just ran into Joker, is what I think, with that. So that's not a bad take there. We'll see. We'll see what happens next season. We won't be here talking NBA. Y'all already know. We talk some NBA. We may cover some summer league stuff. They're gonna get the summer league going, and we just had the draft. If I remove this away, we just had the NBA draft a couple nights ago. Now, to be fair, most people, I watch college ball, but I watch more women's college ball than men's college ball.
Yeah.
So to be fair, man, about 10 picks that I really kind of knew who these kids were. But we start at the top with the NBA draft. It was all about Cooper Flag, right? We all knew Cooper Flag, Duke. They kind of dropped the ball in the championship game. Long story there. But Cooper Flag, we knew he was gonna go pro. They say he was busting down pros with the Olympic tryout team. Like like Cooper Flag was giving it to Kawhi and all them dudes for the Team USA, right? So I knew this kid was for real. And I watched him this season, and he is like a Army Swiss knife type of dude. That's what Cooper Flag. He's athletic, defensive. I mean, he's a white boy. He has a shot. Like he has all this stuff mixed in with them, and so I obviously wasn't surprised he was number one, right?
No, 100%. And to that point, it showed how smart, I guess. Can we call him that? Smart of a GM?
No.
Man, because I mean, that would have been y'all guys' pick, wouldn't it have been?
No, that's their own pick. This is the funny thing with the Mavericks.
Hold on.
This is their own pick. So the Mavericks, they made this trade. They trade Luka. All right, they trade Luka Doncic in the middle of the night for AD. AD gets hurt. Kyrie gets hurt, knee injury. He's gonna be out to Christmas next season. AD comes back. They try to win in the play-in. They lose in the play-in. So they were trying to make it to the playoffs. They lose. Their own pick goes into the lottery. And they win. They win the number one pick. Like, it's insane.
So if they would have kept Luka, there could have been a chance where we could have had a team where there was Kyrie, Luka, and Cooper Flag. Is that what you're trying to say?
If they would have missed the playoffs the same way,
yeah. Wow. That's
crazy, right? So
that's nuts.
Cooper Flag, right? So now you traded away Luka, and in a sense, like they call it the basketball gods, gives them Cooper Flag in place of Luka, right? Because you have a younger, taller, more defensive version. And I can't even call him a version of Luka. Luka's more of a shooter. Cooper Flag is more of, he goes inside. He can shoot, but he does everything. This ain't a fair comparison, but he reminds me of high school LeBron.
Yeah,
that's Cooper Flag reminds me of.
A great comparison.
Yeah, he actually reminds me because LeBron did everything.
Yeah,
if you remember them high school games, like ESPN
Fab Five
high school in Ohio. Yeah, so it's like Cooper Flag. He's that type of dude. You add him to this Dallas team again. You hope Anthony Davis is healthy. He does like out of one every 3 seasons. He stays healthy, and then Kyrie. You hope he comes back. You still got Clay. You got Max Christie. You got pieces there with Dallas. I don't see him as a contender off the jump here, Carlos. What do you think?
So with Dallas and shout out to Music City Soul, said the Mavs and Adam Silver made a call.
It's funny.
But what I will say, what this does for the Mavs, which is pretty cool, is that it makes them a complete team. Yeah, we have to worry about health and all that stuff, but you have a lot of positions filled now with Kyrie, with Cooper, and with Anthony Davis when you're coming back. You can literally drop in a couple shooters, and this team, watch out,
I think the team, because you got to think with this Dallas Mavericks team, this is the team that Luka took to the finals, right?
Yeah.
They have all the pieces, and they added Max Christie and Clay.
Yeah.
Right? This is on top of the team he took to the finals, right?
Yeah.
So you have an AD now who's comfortable in his 4 position, and Cooper Flag, whatever he can give you 10, 6, and 6. Like, I'll be happy with Cooper Flag. You know what I'm saying? This season. Definitely amazing potential, but we're talking about contender level.
Contender level, yeah.
Kyrie is coming back, like I said, after Christmas, and he's coming off that knee. So Kyrie ain't gonna be good probably until the playoffs.
Yeah.
As far as healthy. So they're gonna be a playoff team. So let's be clear. Mavericks is a playoff team, and it's about matchups and what they do in the offseason. But I'm not ready to say they're a contender.
I would say it's so. I did see some reports from Shams. He did say that they are looking for that main. We brought him up a lot tonight. CP3. They need that veteran distributor. They were looking at CP3. They were looking at D'Angelo Russell, and stuff like that. Just to kind of fill that void until Kyrie comes back. If they're able to find that piece, I think they'll be okay.
D'Lo will actually be a really good move. CP3 I think is a given. I think he's gonna have a lot of suitors. Because CP3 at this point, he's that veteran guard. He give you like 20 minutes a night. Perfect for a lot of teams, especially contending. D'Lo will be a good play until Kyrie comes back. Then you trade D'Lo like every team does. At that point.
Yeah.
So that won't be a bad move to get D'Lo for a couple months, right? To score for you. So
that's actually crazy.
That's his career. But with the draft, though, again, the first like 5 or 6 picks kind of stuck with me. Looking at what the D'Lo will be super cheap is funny.
Yeah.
The Spurs, everyone was like, "What will the Spurs do?" People felt this is the second best player from Rutgers, Dylan Harper. He's a scorer. He's kind of like De'Aaron Fox, coincidentally.
Yeah.
Now the Spurs, they fell into this pick because Wembanyama got shut down early.
Yep.
And De'Aaron Fox got hurt, and so they ended up. You just kind of fall, and you didn't have the best odds, but they ended up with the number 2 pick.
Yep.
So you're okay. We'll get the best player available, who happens to play just like De'Aaron Fox. So my question to you, Silos, is with the Spurs, okay, you got De'Aaron Fox. You draft this kid, Dylan Harper, who plays just like him, okay? Then you have Steven Castle. That's a rookie from last year. He's good.
Yeah.
Then Vassell is a scoring guard. All these guys can't stay with this. You can't have 4 guards like this. These are all starter-level guards.
Yeah.
So do you think it's time to start taking calls for probably Vassell or even De'Aaron Fox? What do you think?
Yeah. No, 100%. And what's crazy about this pick, too, so this pick wasn't supposed to be a Dylan Harper. It was supposed to be Ace Bailey. But Ace Bailey decided he didn't want to try out or work out for any of the teams. So he actually dropped to 5th. So with that being said, though, this Spurs team reminds me, I don't know if you remember them, that Sun team that had Isaiah Thomas, Dragic, and all those point guards that then they, that's when Dragic came to Miami. Isaiah, I believe, went to Boston. I wouldn't be surprised if the Spurs do something like that to get some draft, some either drafts or some players to put around Wembanyama. So that's something we gotta keep a close eye on.
I think I think they would take calls for Vassell because I think when you trade for De'Aaron Fox, I think it was like a wink deal to give him an extension.
Yeah.
So and De'Aaron Fox, he's a baller. He shouldn't be your number one. I think it's been proven with the Kings. He can't be your number one.
Yeah.
But if you partner him with a Wembanyama, and then Stephen Castle, Rookie of the Year last year. So you got a foundation there. And then there's Dylan Harper. Now, you say Ace Bailey. Ace Bailey is more of a longer player who's a good scorer as well. Dylan Harper, that's Ron Harper's son.
Yeah.
The great Ron Harper. And so he has some defensive ability, just kind of like God-given, the hereditary. And he's a good scorer as well, too. I like Dylan Harper. It was debatable who's the number 2 guy.
Yeah.
Ace Bailey, Dylan Harper. But yeah, man, I would say Ace Bailey's probably the best. Ace Bailey's probably the most talented dude in the draft.
Yeah.
Like he's long, he can score, he puts it on the floor. Like Ace Bailey, but it's up here. It's up here with Ace Bailey.
It's up here and who's around him.
I hope he's not a head case, man. Because I'm like, you're too talented, dude. Ace Bailey's too talented. Don't fall for the okie doke on that, man.
It's sad because they're showing pictures of his agent. His agent's flaunting all the jewelry and stuff. It's sad, man, because it's like you're saying, his talent is there. His talent is there, and
crazy talent.
I wish he would take notes from what's been happening with Ja and kind of he just needs the right vets around him. And who knows, maybe Utah. Maybe Utah, you have some vets over there. D Wade is a part of the organization of Utah. Maybe take him under his wing. But that's
Ace Bailey messed up the deal with Reebok. Yeah, it's sad to see because I saw him during the college season, and I thought Dylan Harper was the better player, like the complete player. But Ace Bailey, you're talking about just like a wild streak type of dude. He could mess around and be the most talented dude in this draft. More talented than Cooper Flag. I really think Ace Bailey, because you got that length, you got the scoring ability, and the attitude can work on the court.
Yeah.
But with Utah, I'm sorry, he kind of went there to die. Like I don't know,
pretty much.
I don't know what's going to happen to him.
And to what Music City Soul says here, I want to give a shout out to Shaq and the whole Reebok show they got on Netflix. Man, that's pretty dope that they're bringing back Reebok like that. And
shout out to Shaq. Him and his team bought Reebok, right? If people remember, Shaq was a Reebok guy, and AI is a part of the execs. So that just feels right. I bought a pair of Reeboks. Once I heard Shaq I bought a pair of classic Reeboks. I was like, hey, let me get some Reeboks, man. Got
those new ones look nice. Those new ones look nice.
They're clean, bro. I'll put them on. We got shoes out here, but it's like, but with the number 3 Edgecombe, because since Ace Bailey didn't want to sign with them and didn't want to meet with them or try out, they pick up VJ Edgecombe. Now, what's great about him, he is like that Iguodala type guy, right? That's what they're getting. And if you figure Paul George is done, right? Then this is perfect with
Pandemic
Maxey.
Paul.
Yeah, it's perfect with Maxey, and if you get a half a season out of Embiid at this point, right? So this is looking towards the future. Maxey Edgecombe may be that duo. And we'll see what happens with Embiid in the future. But outside of that, man, like I said, the only interesting thing was Ace Bailey, and then I was kind of done with this draft. So
I mean, obviously, I stayed till around just to see what my Heat were going to do, because the whole night was, are they going to trade that 20th pick? What's going on? They decided to go with again, I can't say his name, but I'm actually okay with this. Yeah. I'm okay with this pick. He's versatile. He reminds me of like a Jovic that we have on our team now. But he's more of a point guard sense. Like I said, like a young Dragic who's more versatile, a little bit bigger. So he can make some moves for us.
Yeah, like I said, some good early picks in that draft, and we'll see. Yeah, like I said, very interested to see what the Spurs, because they're playoff level talent. Yeah, and then you add a Dylan Harper, who top 3 talent in the draft, legit. And then we'll see what Cooper Flag's the story with the Mavericks. So I mean, it was a fun draft for that first round.
Yeah.
Overall, we'll see how that shapes out in the future with the NBA. Like I said, when summer league start, when does summer league start? I think it's like next week or something. Let me.
Yeah. It comes pretty fast too. It comes pretty fast. The summer league.
Yeah, summer league. Let's see, 2025 season. ESPN slow. So yeah, it's another week after July 4th week holiday. So that's gonna be fun to see. I want to see those top 5 rookies, 5 or 6 or 7 rookies. I want to see what the Spurs look like as far as young talent, Mavs, Sixers, those teams up there. So good stuff. See, we got Music City, Coop's in a good spot. Oh yeah, he's a perfect team for Cooper Flag. Again, you don't have to be burdened. You still got I think they still got Dinwiddie, and they go after that Chris Paul. Like I said, everyone should be calling Chris Paul
at this point.
Cooper Flag playoff ball a little bit. Play defense. Be a 3-and-D guy for a season, right? I think he'd be great. I think he'd be great just doing that.
Just thinking about a floor with AD and Cooper Flag, like that's
a nasty defense right there.
You can even play small ball if you want. If AD wants to stay at the 4, throw Cooper at the 5 at times, move things around.
Or keep Cooper at 3, AD 4, and then you got Gafford or Lively. That's a nasty front court right there. That's a nasty defensive front. And then Clay ain't too. He could play a little D as well still too. You got Clay at 2, then at point guard when Kyrie come back. Yeah. They got a squad, man. Mavericks got a squad, but again, Kyrie's playing half a year, so I don't see that again. Not contender. A year from now, Cooper's second season, he's probably more of a point forward at that point.
Yep.
And then let's see, what the Mavs do. That'll be very interesting. So summer league, we'll pick up on some summer league stuff after the holiday. He fell into this, bro. He fell into this crazy.
It's crazy, man. It's crazy, man.
Of stuff with the NBA. We're gonna finish our topics with the women's before we close this out. We want to take a snapshot of the WNBA season. That's the draft. The WNBA season. Now, these are the current rankings as of right before the show here tonight. WNBA. Now, the team that's not listed at the bottom here is the Dallas Wings with Paige Beckers.
Ah, man.
They don't got enough wins. We gotta get some more wins. Now, listen, the ladies. Now we love the game. We love everybody's balling. I love what Paige Beckers is doing. Okay, I know for sure there's some Dallas Wings fans that watches the night views. I just want to let y'all know the ladies gotta get some more wins. Okay, I can't hype up teams that's not winning. Okay?
I have a theory for the Wings fans because I am a Paige Baker fan. This, I believe, and we've talked about this offline, I think the Wings are going to start giving the keys to Paige and taking over this Wings team. But one thing that really all WNBA teams need to start looking at was this, I believe it was 2 nights ago, something big happened with Sky, Chicago Sky. The owner calling out Angel Reese, and Angel Reese not liking it. Like, I believe her days as a Chicago Sky are numbered. If I'm the Wings, if I'm any team in the WNBA, I'm giving up the house to get Reese on this. Now,
to be fair, Carlos, Angel's probably having her best week of her career ever right now.
Yeah.
So I don't know if from the business side, you don't trade Angel Reese. You do not.
You don't. But then at that same notion, right? She's having the best season right now.
Right.
Why are you calling her out to making her feel? I'm talking about she breaking down crying because of what this guy's saying on live television. Like that to me is like this is your star player.
So this one must say, Angel Reese. I want, with night views, I want to be very fair with what she's done.
Yeah.
She's made history and kind of like in the light of the whole Caitlin Clark thing and being the villain. Like, I want to be very clear when I say this. A couple years ago, probably like 3 years ago at this point, I learned about Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark at the same time.
Right.
Right. That's where I come from.
Yeah.
And this is that Angel Reese was going to get the chip, beating Caitlin Clark and giving it, Caitlin Clark was trying to tell people they can't see her. It's like, oh, we beat you. You can't see me, right? So that I learned about them at the same time.
Yes.
Right. So Angel Reese, her, Caitlin Clark, obviously Caitlin Clark is like Steph Curry. Okay, so let's be real. Yeah. And you got Cameron Brink with the Sparks. I think she's going to come back after the break with the LA Sparks. They need her. See their record right now, even with the homegirl from the Aces.
Plum. Plum.
Yeah, Kelsey Plum, who's great.
But she's been balling. She's been balling.
Yeah. They need their big girl back. So Angel Reese is as big of drawing people to women's basketball.
Yes.
And Caitlin Clark, yes, is the clear cut the most talent. Caitlin, she's going to challenge for championships really soon, if not this year. Angel Reese, I want to make sure she's getting her props because people they acting crazy on social media. You can call it Dennis Rodman or whatever, but now she's putting up points now. It's going to be a scary thing when Angel Reese figures out her offense. She's going to be the most dominant since Candace Parker.
Yes.
In women's basketball, period.
Candace
Parker's probably the GOAT.
Yeah. The best thing that Angel Reese has been doing is being quiet and working on her game. That she's been talking to her vets, talking to all these players, working with either if it's men and women, different NBA, WNBA players to work on her offensive game. Because the defense is there, the rebounding's there, it's her offensive game. So she's been putting in that work, man.
Yeah, they got to build that team. But shout out to the Chicago Sky. They're fighting to get into that playoff ranking as we see the seeding here.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll start with the East and we'll kind of work down. Now, of course, the defending champs, New York Liberty, nothing needs to be said about them. They're right there where they need to be. Mm-hmm. If you want to see a good game, anytime some random weekend afternoon or night for WNBA, if you see the Liberty on the schedule, just watch them. They play good ball.
Yeah.
Ionescu and the big girl.
Stewart.
Yeah, Brianna Stewart, who I know everyone says Adrian Wilson's the best. Stewart's right there.
Yeah.
Stewart's right there with her. They are the defending champs. They play good ball. If you want to see the best of the WNBA, catch a Liberty's game, right? Now, the Atlanta Dream, I want to shout out a few players here. Atlanta Dream, because last year they weren't really kind of right there, but they got Alicia Gray, that's the all-around guard.
Yeah.
They got Ryan Howard, who's a scorer. She's a sniper. And now Brittany Griner, she's on Atlanta now, right? She was with, I think, Phoenix last year. Yes. Brittany Griner, I feel like okay, help me with this one, Carlos. Now, because I always want to be fair with these women, right? But I understand too the physiological side of not all of them can have like a long career. What I'm trying to say is I think Brittany Griner's like on her back end. I don't see her really, you know what I'm saying, doing what she did. Her numbers right now, she's about 9 points, 5 rebounds a game, 1 block a game. This is not the dominant the dominant player, Brittany Griner, that we saw 3 years ago. I think she's on her back end. But what do you did you catch any Atlanta games? They don't always get scared.
Yeah. I have it on Fubu. So I've been watching them play. I think unfortunately the situation that happened with Brittany Griner, where she was away for the game for a while, that kind of affected her game a lot. And to be honest with you, I'm gonna give props where props is, and this new generation of players, they're becoming way more versatile, a lot more quicker. They're shooting out the gym. Before, when Brittany Griner was playing, it wasn't at the WNBA wasn't at the level as what they are now.
True.
So she
You
shined
think
more.
she's part of the old guard? Is that what you're thinking with her?
Yes, like the Sue
Like the
Bird
back
era.
end? Because when I say old guard, I'm saying like Candace Parker just retired, right? And
Yeah,
it was kind of like that way of playing. You need big girls back then
the
to play, and
physicalness,
yeah, and
the
Brittany Griner was that.
triple
But now you
threat
got
and all
Caitlin.
that. Yeah,
Now you got Caitlin Clark and all these other players more wide open game. Kelsey Plum and people like
yeah,
that, right?
yeah. No, I
That's
100%
fair.
agree with that.
Yeah, and she
So,
has her spot like in history. Like when if they write the
oh yeah,
book of women's ball, Brittany Griner's right there. I think even she realized like the game is kind of shifting to something else. And hey, she can play some D and do her thing, but she's not really like superstar level anymore. But Atlanta, the team she's on is good. Like
yeah.
she's on a really good team, so she can just play her role, do her thing, right? So shout out to the Atlanta Dream and what they're doing there. Another team, and now, of course, with the Fever,
Yeah,
Caitlin
yeah.
Clark. Now you had that DeWanna Bonner. Did you catch any of that where she asked to get off? She got benched
Yeah.
because she didn't fit the roster, and then she asked to be released. Did you catch that story?
Yes, I did. And look, I know a lot of people made the comparison Caitlin Clark with Steph Curry and all that. Obviously the game they kind of almost mirror each other. To be honest with you, her attitude on how she handles it, and I mean rightfully so. Caitlin Clark is a dog. Like she's one of the best.
Yeah.
Her attitude though reminds me a lot of Devin Booker. Devin Booker is that type of player. Is if you don't listen to what Devin Booker says, Devin Booker's gonna make you wish you don't play for Devin Booker. Case in point, KD is not playing with Devin Booker anymore. Just throwing that out there. Like,
wow.
like I know that's a far-fetched kind of theory there, but like and this isn't the first time. I believe the girl who's on oh man. When Caitlyn first came into the league, she I don't really know her name. Blonde hair. She got into it with Caitlyn, and
yeah, she's on the Mercury now. I know who you're
Mercury.
talking about.
Yes. Where she was like, I like Angel Reese because she doesn't walk away from a fight. That's what her comments were towards Caitlin Clark.
She's hating.
Yeah, of course. I would be hating too if you made me get traded off a team. Like,
that's wild. But like I said, with the Fever, to be fair with their record, no, it's not Kelsey Mitchell. I know he's talking about what's her name? Again, she's with the Phoenix Mercury now. I think, but am I saying Phoenix right? No, she's on Dallas, I believe. She's on Dallas.
I believe she's with
she's over there. I think on Dallas. But to be fair with, like I said, with the Fever, as you see their record again, the first 8 gets into the playoffs. We're very early in the season. Fever at the 8th seed. But Caitlin Clark had 2 weeks off, with the injury, and then she had another game off with another injury. So the Fever are going to be okay. Not a lot of news with them right now. With that, another team I want to point out is the Washington Mystics. They had like 3 draft picks, first-round draft picks, and they hit on probably 2 of them with Kiki. Miss Kiki, as I call her, and Sonia Citron, who's kind of like the all-around guard, and they got veteran Brittany Sykes. So just shout out to the Washington Mystics, because
making some noise.
When I shout these teams, Carlos and the viewers, it's because I enjoy watching these teams play. Like Atlanta Dream, I'm seeing good games when they play, no matter who they're playing, and obviously the Fever. But Washington Mystics doing their thing, and they're in contention very early for Kiki, rookie Kiki. Yeah. She's hitting them boards, and like I said, she's not the biggest scorer, but like I said, Washington Mystics, they give any team a good game. We talked about Chicago. We'll see them. They may have a little push right here with those wins with them. Let's flip it over to the Western Conference. My new favorite player this season. Now, last year, I was all about Enrique Agumbawali, and I still like Agumbawali. We're in a tough time in our relationship right now. Enrique, got Paige Becker's there. You maybe time for Enrique to leave.
Yeah,
Dallas.
she's kind of reminding me of like a Anthony Edwards situation, where she has like a lot of talent, not a game, but like
Mhm.
it's like almost like
Not
you gotta like,
translating.
yeah, it's not translating too much.
Yeah,
But by
yeah.
the way,
But
real quick,
Paige is
she
calling that.
was it was Marina Melberry. She is on the Kinetic Suns, the player we were talking about. Just to give
Okay,
her a
got
shout
you,
out. Yeah, yeah.
got you. Yeah, I mean, like I said, with Dallas, and like I said, Dallas fans. Because I know some of y'all on my Still Nation Sports. We talk over there. Y'all be watching Night Views. No shade. Okay, no shade to Dallas. All I'm saying, them girls, they got to. I like watching Paige Beckers. Okay, anytime Dallas
Yeah.
plays, I'm watching her play. Carlos knows I always shout her out.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But we gotta get some wins now. Gotta get some wins, lady. I can't give a whole segment to y'all right now. All right. So but moving on, moving on. My new favorite player, Nafisa Collier with the Minnesota Lynx. She is probably what Aja Wilson was doing probably for like 10 years. Nafisa Collier, they was in the finals. She was, she got really close to a title. She's coming back for blood this year. And I'm liking Minnesota, and I think they feel if they match up with the New York Liberty again, I think Minnesota's feeling like, I think we're the better team this season. This is the best team in the league right now, Minnesota Lynx. Have you catch any of their games?
I've caught a couple. Not religiously, but definitely I've caught a couple.
Nafisa is the truth.
Yeah. She definitely they have been balling, and it's been fun to watch. When I do get a chance to catch a game, they have been fun to watch. I believe the last game I saw was them versus Liberty, I believe, and that was like back and forth. I believe they went to overtime when they.
That's
played.
some of the best ball when you watch Minnesota play. They like I say with the Liberty. I'll say the same thing with the Lynx. These are the two best clear top teams in the league, and you're going to see a good basketball game when those teams are playing. It may be a blowout if they're playing a sad team, but you'll see some good ball when Minnesota's on the court. So definitely Collier, she's the truth, and I enjoy watching the games. Now, the Mercury is another team I want to shout out, and one of my new favorite players, Satu Sabali. Now, she's not only a model looking player, but she balls out, averaging like 20 and 8 a game with like 3 assists. She's an all-around player, scorer. They got Alyssa Thomas over there, veteran. Alyssa Thomas was with the Connecticut Sun last year. They blew up that team.
Yeah.
Alyssa Thomas is over here with Phoenix now. She's elbowing people and getting 10 rebounds a game and stuff, whatever she's doing, 10 assists a game, all-around player. Phoenix Mercury is my dark horse team. I was going to say it right now. We're very early. I know we're very early in the season.
Interesting.
Is Minnesota and New York. Phoenix, they probably can clip one of them, right? And be in contention. I like watching Phoenix play. That's a pretty good team right there for me now. And then Seattle Storm, they got that rookie. I forget the young lady's name, but she's like the Wembanyama of
yes.
WNBA. She's very young, very raw. I'm gonna give her a year or two to kind of get her bearings, and I think they can make some moves over there in the West.
Yeah.
Now, honorable mention. We mentioned the Sparks. The Sparks, they're working. They're still waiting on Cameron Brink to come back. Kelsey Plum is box office, so she does her thing. And then the Aces, not their strongest team right now. Aja Wilson, I'm used to seeing Aja Wilson with like champion level team. Yeah. Something's off with the Aces. I mean, they got rid of Kelsey Plum, so that didn't help.
I think that was bigger than what they thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
Losing a player like Kelsey Plum, especially being a part of that culture for so long, I believe that was a big thing for the Aces. You mentioned your dark horse.
Yeah.
I'm gonna you know me, I like me an underdog. I'm going with the baby team of the league, the Valkyries, man. They have
that was my last team I was going to bring up. Go ahead.
Yeah, like I've caught a couple of their games. Yeah. Just the tenacity, the way that they're going out there. It's like you can tell like this is
They're
a
competing.
young. They're competing. They're like they have something to prove. They're like, yeah, we are a young team. We are this is the first time we're out here, but we're out here with chips on our shoulders, and I love seeing that. Being a part of Heat culture. That's what we about. I'm always gonna throw Heat culture into the conversation, but
hey, these Valkyrie, because if you thinking, expansion team, right? It's like they coming to ball. Like they're very gritty. They don't have the prettiest game. Like when you watch Valkyrie, it's not like let's say playing like Minnesota or somebody like that. But the Valkyrie, they're right there, 6th seed, right in the league, and this is an expansion team. Yeah. Right. You got Kayla Thornton, who I didn't really see play before. She's a 4, I think like a 4 position. She's getting 16 and 7 a game. She's a defensive player as well. I didn't even know where she came from. And it's a team around her. I was like, okay, the Valkyrie, they came to play. You know what I'm saying? They ruined Music City's parlay. Yeah, I don't. It's unpredictable. But what I think what's going to happen as we get closer to the break and everything with the WNBA, I think, I would say the cream rises to the top. I think the Fever is going to get better. I think the Mystics are better. They're pretty good right now, and I think Chicago's going to contend. So Valkyrie may kind of come back down because as good as they're playing, I don't know if they can sustain this for a whole season without like a lot of key players. And, like I said, you can't count out Aja Wilson. I think Aja Wilson is going to turn that team around as well, too. Yeah, and they waived their number 1 pick, the Valkyrie. I was like, what? Like they drafted the girl first, and then they like waived her. So I was like, okay, that's weird. But so that's a WNBA coverage. When is the break? Let me.
It should be coming up pretty soon, right?
Yeah, they got a break coming up. They used to have their schedule.
Are they doing the whole like USA versus
I don't think this year. I think they only did that for the Olympic year.
Right.
Let's see. Let me ask. Let's ask. I guess AI Google. That's what everyone does now. When is WNBA break? Because I know they have like a summer break or something like that. Okay, so it's no, that was last year. I don't know. We'll find out next year. I don't got time for all that right now. But
so I typed it in. It looks like the All-Stars coming in July 19th. So that should be the next thing that's coming up.
Okay, so that's their All-Star break. Okay. Yeah. Well, okay, I got their schedule. Okay, we got the start date. We got key dates in the WNBA season.
They announced the captains today for the All-Star game. CC and Feet are the captains.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Collier and Caitlin Clark, that makes sense. I don't think I got the right schedule right now, so I'm not gonna. Yeah. Okay, I got it right now. Okay, so training camp. Let's see. We already got the Commissioner's Cup that went on already. Got the Commissioner's Cup Championship July 1st. Who's in that game? Why don't we know this stuff?
July 1st. That's this week.
WNBA commissioner.
I might have to put some money on that.
Let's see. It's the annual in-season tournament. Who's in the game though? People. I swear, man, it's live television.
Music City Soul said Fever.
It's Fever and Lynx for the Commissioner's Cup July 1st on Amazon Prime. So that should be a good game. I'm picking Minnesota right now to win that game. Quite easily, actually. I think they're just the best team.
Yeah.
Their All-Star break is July 17th to 21st. I should probably I need to clip this. So the All-Star break, All-Star game July 19th. So they don't have that Olympic break this year.
Okay.
Yeah, so because I think they're just for the Olympic season, but I'm gonna make sure I clip this schedule. And in fact, I'll bring it up on the screen here in just a second here. Because last year was different because of the Olympics. We were kind of covering that, in real time. Music City, who you got? Commissioner's Cup, Minnesota Fever. You got to go with Fee, man. You can't.
Do you so
right now?
I got a question. Do you think that's why they've been kind of because Caitlyn has been like off and on playing, not playing. I know they say it's because
Mm-hmm.
they're trying to
She
do
has
her
some
health thing.
injuries.
Yeah.
I think the injuries real.
Okay. Okay.
so, so we got the Commissioner's Cup that's coming out a day before Jurassic World Rebirth.
Oof. I'm
Commissioner's
actually gonna
Cup
go see that
championship.
tomorrow.
That's what's up. Yeah, we gotta talk about that.
Yes, sir.
But then again, WNBA All-Star break coming up, All-Star game. So I guess they're gonna pick the teams. You said they named the captains already
Yeah.
for that.
Yeah. Apparently, Caitlin
Mhm.
Clark is one of the captains. That's what Music City put in the chat, I believe.
I think I saw a graphic with that
Yeah.
and again with and fee as well. And so
Yeah.
I'm just gonna pick the teams or how are they gonna do that? Let's see. Let's look that up as well.
I think they're gonna do
WNBA
what they do with Giannis and LeBron all the time. You know, they pick their teams and then they just go
That's what they're
battle it
gonna
out.
do.
Yeah, could be.
Let's see. It says here All-Star captains. Are they gonna reveal the other starters this Monday? So tomorrow.
Okay.
They're gonna reveal the starters, and then Clark and Collier will draft the reserves. Or no, they okay. No, like you just said, they will pick their team from
Okay.
the players that's announced. Right? Actually, I can just pull up the screen right here instead of just trying to dictate it. Let's bring it to the people here. We got about 10 minutes. I got about 10 more minutes, and I gotta close this out.
Okay.
Let's see here. Where we at? Right here.
So on a side note, I am getting some from a little source of mine that LeBron has been very active on social media right now with a lot of people's posts with everyone saying, about the whole trade and all that stuff. So I
Yeah.
don't know, man. That's I haven't, usually LeBron, he tries to stay away from the social media thing when he's talking,
Trade him.
whenever they talk,
Trade him. We got Clark and Collier. Again, the remaining 8 stars will be revealed tomorrow. So we'll get the names tomorrow and we'll recap this next week, with night views. But we got the coaches, we'll select the reserves. The captains, Clark and Collier, will draft their teammates. So from the pool, right? They'll announce the pool tomorrow. They will, and then the coaches will put the rest. Then they will draft from the reserve. So interesting.
This is going to be interesting because I want to see.
That should be cool.
Yeah, man, that's gonna be nice. You think Clark will go get Reese?
I think she would just for the. If you're talking about marketing, because that's if the WNBA is smart, you make sure Caitlin Clark and Reese plays together every All-Star game, because that's just all the eyes when they're with their own teams have them battle out. But for All-Star Weekend, let them play together. That will kind of calm down the fan bases a little bit, and just you have some iconic moments. They played with each other last year in the All-Star game.
Look, man, I'm about to put my suspender hat back on right now. So look, being a Heat fan, again, I'm gonna bring it up. All-Star Weekend is the start of a lot of conversations. Hence, that's how the big 3 started. So if Angel Reese ain't happy where she's at and she starts playing with Caitlin Clark and she's having a good time,
all I'm gonna say,
that's gonna be about money.
Yeah, that would be. If you find a way, because this doesn't happen in these like hero villain stories. It sort of happened. If we're going to be, Rodman joined the Bulls. He was with the Pistons, right? Beating up Michael Jordan. Then they get Rodman. So that was kind of like the closest thing to this, right?
Yep.
You get Clark and Reese on the same team, they're going to win a couple of championships.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's over with.
They're going to win some championships, right? So
yeah.
I don't really see that happen, because if I'm Chicago, you don't let Angel Reese go. You just don't.
Treat her better.
Team's losing.
You got to treat my girl better over there.
I like Cardosa, the big girl from South Carolina. She's coming on, and you just need some more. They got rid of all their guards. I'm like, what is Chicago doing? You got rid of Marina and Shinnicky.
It's crazy
Clark,
because like they don't have any help for Angel, but then yet you got the owner coming out saying all that stuff about her, man. It's like, come on.
That was weird.
Yeah, very
That's
weird, very
definitely
weird.
weird. But we're gonna close this one out, man. Night Views, like I said, it's really good to be back here just to chop it up with sports. Overall, the notable stories. Trinity, whatever her name was, yeah.
Yeah.
But with coming up this week, we'll have, I guess, some all WNBA All Star talk. We'll see what's going on with this LeBron trade threats and things like that. And we're gonna meld in some football as well. We're getting close to college football as well. So, and I'm getting my college football game next Monday.
Okay.
So I'm taking the whole day off playing college football on Xbox.
Are you getting it for the? You got it on Xbox? Okay.
On
okay.
Xbox, yeah.
Is it cross-platform?
I think it crosses. Yeah, you on PlayStation?
I'm on PlayStation, man. Hold up. Yeah. We gonna have to do a Night Views showdown. Yeah, I don't know if you want it on live, so.
Man, we have to do that live, man. Someone has to catch an L. I'm just saying live. I don't know who it's gonna be. I'm just saying someone has to catch an L. Probably me, but for sure, more sports to come. Sunday night, we will be here. Carlos, what's coming up with you? You got the whole RTP brand out there. What's going on?
Yes, sir. We got a lot, man. So as you guys see, we are doing a lot of sports. So officially, if you guys can please go follow the RTP Sports Network. It's its own channel. That's where everything that I do. I have a big event that I'm doing tomorrow over for an adult league. It's a championship game. We're going to be recording it live, editing the videos and all that stuff. That's on the sports side of things. We are with the RTP are doing, RTP Geek Station, where I'm going to be touching on all things DC, sometimes Marvel, but mainly the new show that I got coming out right now is called The Watchtower Report, where I'm going to be touching on everything DC that's coming out. It's the time for DC. And then I got my Real Talk Reacts as well, where I do a lot of different reactions, whether it's sports, trailers, movies, all that good stuff. So, yeah, man, we're booming. We're moving, man. It's exciting times.
Hey, man, summer's getting hot, very active with content. People already know as far as with, my film and entertainment stuff. So check out the Still Abdul Geek Network. Overall, we just dropped a bunch of videos today, did a live stream.
We're eating, man.
This summer, next week, we got Jurassic World Rebirth. We got the Super Jurassic Superman coming out.
Yeah.
Fantastic Four is going to be a very busy summer, but Sundays, like I said, we took off last week because we were supposed to win live last week. We was like, let's watch the finals. Let's
right.
Watch the finals. And, it kind of was an underwhelming, because Halliburton got hurt, but we're going to be here most Sundays when possible, especially during NFL season. We'll be here Sunday nights recapping the NFL, NBA, WNBA, college sports as well. So we're going to close this one out. Much love to those following the Still Abdul Sports, RTP as well, Night Views in conjunction. Shout out to Music City in the chat. Those that catch this on replay as well. We're just going to go and slide on out of here. Outro's coming up soon, okay? It's not coming tonight. We're just going to end it right here. Much love. We out.